And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today we're talking about another dungeon crawling game. Yawn. Go through the dungeon, slay the goblins, slay the dragon, blah, blah, blah. But this one's different. This one is most certainly different. I like loony things. I really do. And I think this game would fit into loony games category. And that's Dungeon Fighter. You don't know why I'm saying loony? Take a look. So here's the game. What players are going to be doing is players are a dungeoning party going through a dungeon, and you're going to make this dungeon with some cards here. And as the game progresses, players are going to go from room to room, and they can decide which way to go through. Well, the leader can decide, and you'll pick one person to be the leader if you can't agree. And each room, I mean, going this way is faster, but it's more difficult. It's fast. It's even longer to go this way, but there's a healing springs. Some rooms will give you bonuses, and there's a store in some of the rooms until you get to the final enemy. As you go from room to room, you'll be pulling cards from this tower. Now, this tower is nothing but a glorified card holder, but hey, that's cool. And you'll put the easiest monsters in top, and so on and so forth. And you have to go through all these monsters, and the harder the game is, the more monsters you put in there. Now, when you go into a room, what you're going to do is you're going to pull the monster for that room. So let's pull a monster here. Here we have this monster, this skeleton guy, and we see that he has 10 life points. He does 1 damage, and he's worth 3 gold if we kill him. So now it's time to bring out the heroes. Now, each player at the beginning of the game is going to choose a hero, and each hero has a very wonky picture. It shows what they can carry. So, for example, Lady Mary here can carry 1 weapon and 2 potions, and they're done with that very weird artwork that this company's known for, which is fine. You know, it's very interesting. But they also have 3 special abilities. There are 3 dice that players will be attacking with: a blue, a green, and a red. And each of these die has a special symbol on half the sides. And if you roll that special symbol when attacking, you get to do your special abilities. So, for example, this He-Man ripoff here, Torm, when he rolls the special symbol on the blue side, he does +2 damage. If he rolls a special symbol on the green side, he does 5 damage. And if he rolls a special symbol on the red side, he does double damage. While the very first guy, Randolph here, if he rolls a red one, he'll change the opponent to a frog. If he rolls the special symbol on the green one, he does +4 against any enemy that has that symbol. And when he rolls the symbol on the blue one, then he can re-roll the die if he needs to. So what is these dice for anyway? Well, when you get to an enemy, what players will be doing is they're going to be trying to hit this target here. And to hit that target, one player starts, and they take the 3 dice. And they're going to take one of those dice, and they're going to throw it at the target. But it must bounce off the table first. So if it doesn't land on the thing at all, it's a miss. If it lands on the bone, it's a miss. If it touches one of these holes even slightly, it's a miss. But otherwise, okay, it's a hit. And I'm not really showing a good example. So there I rolled it. It's a hit. It's in the 1 circle. So therefore, I've done 1 damage. Now, I'm hopefully trying to get more damage than that. There's 2. And wow, I'm not being a very good explanation here. But you can see there's a couple 6s here, then 4s and 5s, and this middle target is 10. In fact, if you get the special symbol in the middle target, it's an auto kill. So you will have a tracker that you'll be keeping track of the monster's health with. If you miss, the monster deals his damage to you. And each player has a tracker that they'll keep track of. They keep track of their health, and if they go below their health in the middle of the round, then they faint, and they have been knocked out that round. If everyone's knocked out, you lose. But you keep throwing at the monster, trying to kill him. But now, once all 3 of these dice have been thrown, doesn't matter how many players are in a game, once all 3 of these dice have been thrown, then the monster hits everybody for his damage. And then you start over again. However, before that happens, you may throw bonus dice that are on your treasure chest. The problem is when you throw a bonus die, you ain't getting that bonus die back again. If you kill the monster before you use the 3 dice for the first time, let's say the monster's 10 points and I throw, boom, hit him for 10 points. He's dead. We didn't use 2 dice. Well, fantastic. That means we get 2 bonus dice. If we had used 2 of the dice to kill him, we didn't use the 3rd, then we would get 1 bonus die. Either way, we're going to get money. Now, money is great because money can be used to go to the store later on. And when you're in the store, you're going to draw different cards that will give you equipment and weapons. Let's take a look at some of these. For example, here, I have a one-time potion that can be used to give me 4 health back. Here I have a one-time potion that will give me +3 on an attack. But also in here, we have armor, where I can cancel an attack by an opponent 1 time. Here, I have a bow. Now this says, if I stand back, take 1 step back from the table and throw it, I do +2 damage. Now it's up to me whether I want to do that or not. Or here, if someone else holds my hand and rolls the dice with my hand, then I do +4 damage. Or here, if I throw it under my leg, I get +2 damage. Here, if I put it, I throw it off my nose, I get +2 damage. So weapons allow you to do that, and there's potions and armor that will take off damage that you can use. That can be a real pain in the neck, especially since sometimes they want you to jump up and turn around. And they're not the only ones. As the monsters get harder, you'll find that, for example, this monster, you cannot open your eyes when you attack them. Not to mention they're going to do 3 damage if you miss them. This monster, if they hit you, they're going to destroy one of your equipment. This monster, when it hits you, can poison you. And there's all sorts of different cards that will happen. But sometimes they will have special ways to throw the dice that you get to, which can be a real pain in the neck. And the room that you're in, if you picked a specific room, for example, if you're here, you might have picked a room that makes you throw under your leg, and you're fighting a monster that makes you throw blindfolded, and you use a weapon that makes you stand back from the table. So there could be some pretty weird combinations, and you're trying to kill this. Now, if you faint in the middle of a dungeon run thing, now at the end of that dungeon run, as long as if everyone faints, you're out. But if you're the only person, then you're going to take a scar, which will cover up one of your special abilities and 3 of your hit points. So you're weaker at that point in time, so you got to be really careful. You take 3 scars, and then you're dead, and we remember you forever. All right. However, if you get to the final boss card, and there's 4 of them, so here's an example of one, a dragon, who has 40 hit points and does 5 damage each time. If you get to the final guy and you kill him, then hurrah, you've won, and there's some kind of complicated point system to see how greatly you've won, but essentially you've won. And so that's how you play. I think it's hilarious when you combine dexterity and other genres. There already is a dexterity dungeon game, Catacombs, but oddly enough, Catacombs has almost a serious flavor to it. You're shooting discs around the board, and it's so much fun, you know, when you're shooting discs. This game is also dexterity, where you're trying to throw dice, but this is just an over-the-top, silly vibe at it. I mean, when you're trying to shoot dice under your leg while spinning around, while throwing them backwards, or your eyes are closed, then you gotta throw the dice like you're praying, or come off your nose, and everyone's laughing and yelling. I mean, I have yet to win this game because we just get murdered by the stupid. I'm just horrible at it. So is Melody.
No, I'm not. I'm good at it, and you know it.
Yeah, that's true. She's better than I am at this game. But what did you think of Dungeon Fighter?
It was. I just really love playing this game because the shooting the dice onto the table or my card, and then on the target thingy and the holes and all the different numbers. It was just a lot of fun, and the different monsters with the different abilities.
Yeah.
They're really.
We found, did you like the abilities of the characters, the different abilities you had when you rolled the special things on the dice? I really enjoyed that part. You will find yourself looking in the back of the book, what does that thing mean for the first couple games, and this is not abnormal for them. Horse Fever, which we love from the same company, you know, we're constantly doing the same thing, looking up all the special abilities, but this is just so much fun. When we played it, every time we play it, people come by and kind of look at us like,
laughing sometimes.
Like, what are you doing? Some people looked at us like they couldn't handle just how over the top silly this was. But there are moments where we were just uproariously laughing at, you know, you have to hold my hand while I'm blindfolded throwing it, and just really silly things. And the point where everyone cheers because you got that absolute fantastic throw, and the point where everyone laughs at you because you never hit something the entire game. Well, I mean, it could be anybody. It doesn't have to be me. I hit almost every time.
That's me.
Well, that was the 4 I almost hit. Well, anyhow, if you like good, silly fun, this is it. And yet it's still, I will say, it does retain a dungeon crawl feel to it, kind of, sort of, maybe. But it's all about the dexterity, and it's one of the most fun dice-throwing games I've played in ages. It's like tumbling dice in a dungeon.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.